Well, all right, Mr. D-Roy, it's time for another podcast from Death, Piles, and Taxes.
That's us.
We're going to have a good time this morning. Sounding a little nasally. I've had some sort of something for about 5 weeks now, and the doctor can't figure it out. But that's just me. I'm an anomaly.
Well, I'm glad I'm sitting right across the room from you then. I mean, right in the line of whatever it is.
It's not contagious. It's just, something up there. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just glad to see you this morning. I figured, I didn't know what was going to happen. You had a good night last night. And
I had a good night.
We're going to hit it here strong. When you hang out with royalty, I mean, you're Derek, sometimes you just get in, whether it's the back door at the All-Star game, whether it's front and center at your own personal The Killers with Brandon Flowers concert. How'd that happen, D-Roy?
Well, I can't tell all because I have another podcast where I have to tell the full story. So if you want the full story,
geez.
Lonely Town of the Killers podcast, well,
Yeah, he'll stretch it out to like a 3-hour format here. We'll take the little nitty-gritty.
Yeah, we'll take the quick one.
About a 10-minute breakdown.
I've always known there was something up there. I've told you for years you had something up there. Your sinuses or whatever.
Oh, I always got something.
Get something out.
Yeah, I got to get something out.
Well, it was kind of weird. Yesterday was just like any other day, Adam, in the life of D-Roy. I woke up and went to work, and I wake up way too early and go to work, and it was close to the end of the day, and, things are pretty much done, but I'm a clock puncher, so I can't leave. That's the bad thing. Like, you should be able, in a perfect world, and it works for some people, like you. If your job's done, if everything's done, you just go home. You don't have to just stick around and wait till 3:30 because that's your time on your shift.
That's very true.
And you get paid the same regardless if your work gets done at 8 a.m. or it gets done at 5 p.m. Whatever.
Yes.
Should be how it is, but that's just not how society and the world works and whatever. So
unless you work at Atom Up Accounting.
Yeah, which I don't. Maybe I'll put it in an application if you need somebody with my skills. I don't know.
You do have quite the skill set.
So I'm getting on the internet after my last break, and I usually, because I have the other podcast, I mean, I'm always on my eBay doing my buying and selling for this one and looking at that kind of stuff. But my other one is about the Killers, the band The Killers. And so I'm over on the internet kind of scrolling through, and I see a post on the Reddit about they do corporate shows sometimes where a big company will pay, extravagant, I just woke up, extravagant amount of money, and my voice doesn't want to work.
It's because you were out late last night.
Late. No, I've been yelling a little bit. Then they'll bring you a band, and so I was looking, and the Killers were playing. This first I saw was probably about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Killers were playing in Salt Lake at this Qualtrics party or convention.
Convention,
whatever it was. And I thought, that's interesting, and it's in Salt Lake. It's at the Salt Palace where I just broke into about a month ago. And I thought, this is the first time I've been hearing about that. So I best figure out a way to do that because it's good content for my other show.
Yes, sir, it is.
And I got to looking and doing my due diligence, and because I didn't want to just go up there and not be able to get in, even though I was pretty sure I could, because I got a certain set of skills.
Yes, you do have a certain set of skills.
I thought, well, I better make sure I can get in because I don't know. The guy that owns Qualtrics, for people that don't know, owns the Utah Jazz as well. I didn't know what their security and stuff was like, and
like that's ever stopped him before.
Well, but I don't want to go all the way up there and just turn around and come back because whatever. So I figured out a way. I lined something up, and I was like, I hope this works. I mean, it was some guy who was going to sell me his wristband.
Okay.
Because they had an extra person in their party not going to go, and I thought, well, I hope because the actual doors, it was like a big socializing event after they had a conference all day, so. They had keynote speakers and whatever they do. And so all these techie people.
Yes.
They opened up the doors, and they called it like a warehouse party or something.
Oh, boy.
So they had like Tony Hawk skateboarded on this half pipe. They had all these food trucks, and people were doing their networking and socializing. And I wasn't going to make it I had to drive from where we live up to Salt Lake, which is about an hour without any traffic.
Yeah, you're an hour.
And we're in some traffic at that point. So I was hoping this guy didn't just say, well, whatever, I'm going in, I don't care. And so I got up there in time, and went and met up with this gentleman. I don't think he'd done many of these deals before. He was acting all kind of like looking over his shoulder, and I'm like, handed me it, like cupped it in his hand, and like I was buying a pound of meth off him or something. I was just, I'm buying a wristband. And anyways, he tries to give me the lowdown of what was going on. I thought I'll find my own self, my own way around here.
I'll figure it out. I know I'm familiar with the layout of this building.
Yeah, I'll figure out what's going on. Don't you worry about me. Which either way, boy, you know how you said when you went to the suites,
yes,
and you'd make all sorts of concoctions. And
yeah.
I said, well, they've never seen a poor guy at the suites before.
That's a true statement.
They had all these food trucks layered about around this half pipe in that same room where they had that basketball stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I went in there. I hadn't ate since breakfast the other day because I forgot to bring my lunch. It was a whole deal. So I was pretty hungry. And then I got home and I had to turn around and drive up.
Yeah.
So I probably hadn't really eaten much that whole day. Well, they haven't ever seen a husky kid at a free food truck expo
Oh,
before.
boy.
So I made short work. Well, the good thing is,
put a hurting on it.
I mean, I didn't want to make myself sick because I knew I was going to be in a hot room later that might be bouncing around a little bit, So I didn't want to be too crazy. But I go in there and I'm looking around, and one, I don't know anybody there.
No.
Two, I don't need to know anybody there.
No.
I'm not going to make friends because I'm just on a solo project. And so I did my scouting around, and kind of figure out the lay of the land. And man, they had different setups. Some people were pre-packed food, and some people were real sticklers on making sure you had like they had these little tickets or something. And then there was like kind of the free for all. So I find the Hawaiian buffet line.
Oh yeah.
And they have the little to-go thing, and you can put as much rice as you want in there,
or
you can put as much meat. So you can imagine what I did.
I saw the plate. It was piled.
It was piled nice and high. A bunch of pineapple and that kind of thing on there. So made short work of that.
And that all goes back to the original, I would say, plate stacking abilities. It was always that pleasure when Grandma and Grandpa would take you to the Sizzler. You get the one-time salad bar, and you made dang sure that one time was, pleasing unto the plate, correct?
Well, we'd go to the Chuckarama, which is an all-you-can-eat buffet, but we'd go with, like, my dad's brothers and stuff. So Uncle Del, let it be known that you don't get bread when you go through there. That's just a filler. You go for the meats,
So we're talking years of experience on these type of food entities D-Roy's throwing behind him.
I'm no stranger to the buffet. And the other thing is, a lot of these people, I mean, they're there with their companies, they're there with their coworkers, and they're trying to network, and so they're kind of being
they're
polite.
They're there to network and not necessarily enjoy the atmosphere.
They're not there because they haven't ate all day and they just found out there's a band in town that they're going to go see. That's just nice for them. That's just like, added, you spent $1,000 on coming to this or whatever they've spent on the tickets or whatever. So I'm and no one cares. No one's watching, but I'm like loading up the Kahlua pork and the the teriyaki chicken.
Oh, I saw that mac. I saw your mac you had.
Yeah, then I put the mac on the top because you had to go down the order. But I mean, I had a little. I mean, you have to have a little rice, but most people would put a lot of rice and then
just a filler,
then like a scoop of something. Like, that's not how I'm going to play this game. And then I was a little concerned. Two reasons. Your boy owns the Delta Center.
Yes.
Why wasn't this at the Delta Center?
Because it was a conference. He's got didn't the Jazz just play there?
Well, they always just played there.
Well, I think they just had a home game. I mean, this is a big to-do. It isn't you just
I
show up.
bet the big to-dos for like other companies will just say like a new skin, for example.
Yeah, but I'm sure he has ownership in this other place
I've been
too.
to corporate events at other places, and I've seen private concerts at the Delta Center is what I'm saying.
All right.
I'm glad it wasn't. It worked in my favor that it wasn't. I'm just wondering why he didn't use the building that he owned.
I'm not sure about that, but
I'll ask him later.
Yeah, you probably will.
And so I'll go find me a spot to eat, and I'm putting over the scheme in my head about what am I even doing? How did I even get here?
So did you bring the missus with you?
Well, unfortunately, no, because when I was talking to a dude with wristband,
We had one wristband.
he had one.
All right.
And so I said to the missus, I said, hey, this is going on. and she was going over to her mom's, and I said, you like, if you don't want me to go, whatever. It wasn't no pressure because I was like, just found out about it. Should I go or should I not? She's like, oh, you definitely need to go.
So you're up there on a solo project.
So I'm solo, and there's like water, like how corporate things are. Like they have the water, but it's like they look like Red Bulls, but
The
it's
Dasani,
Dasani's.
in the tin, in the can.
They did have like a bar of some nature if you wanted to go get you a drinky winky. I didn't go explore all the options there.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't.
I got to drive home at them. I've been up since 4 a.m. Last thing I was already kind of delirious, so last thing I needed was a little added courage on the night.
So you're there at this corporate event. You just got done to pound on the food. The pictures and video then brought you to the front row Joe here.
Well, here's what happened after that. I'll again, if you want the full detailed report, Lonely Town Killers podcast, but exclusive for Lonely Town listeners.
And that's the world of D-Roy is an interesting place because, like I said, if you're living right, magic happens, and that's what D-Roy always does. He's always doing those things. He's always getting into good situations because when you know. And so what's next, D-Roy?
So the half pipe guys came in. They had like this big half pipe, and they had a bunch of skateboarders, and they had like the hype man announcing like, from all the way from Australia, we have some guy, and blah, blah, blah.
Bucky Lasik.
Yeah, and then this guy's one of the best in the world. And
Tony Hawk.
Well, Tony Hawk was there. So then Tony Hawk comes up, and I see him go up and down, but I just listened to a podcast probably a week or two ago interviewing Tony Hawk about going to corporate events and how he was kind of older and he just broke his legs.
Yeah, I'm surprised he was there riding.
And I'm guessing Ryan just wrote a fat check, but he just got over like broken his leg.
Yeah.
So I knew he wasn't going to do much. Plus the half pipe was not quite to the ceiling, but they didn't have a whole lot of clearance. So I knew we weren't going to see like Olympic level.
No,
we were just going to see little tricks, a few little tricks, which were nice.
Yeah.
So I watched that for a second. I saw Tony Hawk go up and down, and well, that's cool to say that I've done. It's kind of like saying I saw Michael Jordan in a practice warm-up game or something like that, but I didn't see him in full competition.
You saw him when he was playing for the Wizards.
Not even playing, though. Like, he went out and had a shoot-around with the Wizards. I watched that.
Okay.
I didn't watch the game. It was just some rich guy paid him to come play on his home court and take a few practice shots. And so everyone's kind of starting to gather, and I thought, I didn't come here to see Tony Hawk. There's probably, I don't know, like somewhere 5,000 maybe.
Okay.
Maybe that might be a little high, but somewhere in that range.
I'd say 4,000.
4,000 to 5,000, probably a safe number. I thought, I came here to see the Killers. Like, I'm not going to be at the front of this. I'm not going to win these guys in a foot race. I don't know. They had kind of rough times on things.
Especially after the food truck.
But I knew where the stage was going to be. And it was like, they called it the main stage.
Oh,
Coming out on the main stage. So it was over.
Cinnamon.
Exactly. I was like, oh, this sounds familiar. Welcome to the main stage. And so I thought, I'm just going to go over there and line up and hang out because I had like maybe an hour and a half, but I was kind of tired. I didn't want to be on my legs because I thought everyone's just going to be crammed in here and standing anyways. So I thought, I'm going to have to do some standing anyways. And like I've said, I've been up, at that point, hours. And so I get walking over there and I see a chair, a nice padded chair. Kind of like they have...
in your instance, the throne.
Well, it's like one of them security. It's a folding chair, but one of those... And so I thought, I'm just going to drag this over to where that door opens up. And when people start lining up, I'll just get up with them. But that way, I'm not like crowding the weird guy just waiting for this door to open. So I drag over my chair. No one cares. No one's paying attention.
When you look like you know what you're doing, people don't ask.
And when you're by yourself and they're with their corporate friends, they just figure, one, I work there.
Security.
Or two, I'm security. Or I know what I'm doing. Like, no one's like, why are you dragging that chair? I'm like, no one cares. And so I take this chair, and I'm sitting there for probably a half hour, going through the phone. I'm sending some pictures, chatting it up with the boys. I thought if I play this right, maybe I'll get me a little power nap. But I didn't want to miss everything. And people are walking in and out, and I'm kind of lined up. And, probably roughly 20, 30 minutes, I look over, and there's kind of a group forming. And I'm like, crap, they're forming down there. I'm not down here where I'm at. And I'm like, I don't want to be at the end of the line because there's a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, if they're already lining up. So I'm like, well, okay, I better go down there. So I go walking down there, and then somebody's like, so you all are here for the meet and greet? You guys are all here for the meet and greet, right? Hell yes, I'm here for the meet and greet. Yeah, of course I'm here for the meet and greet. That's why I'm lining up here. So I'm thinking to myself, Now, this got kind of crazy real fast, right? And so they escort us in to the area. And
backstage.
But here's the weird thing. Everyone has the same wristband. So they're like, let's see the wristbands. And it wouldn't be hard if you knew what... Well, okay, I won't go off the air, I'll tell you. This isn't a hard code to crack. But there's no, like, backstage pass. I don't know how these people got backstage out of the 5,000 people there. If they paid extra, if they were top performers, I don't know how this happened. All I know is I saw a group of people, and I got in line.
Showed up.
So then I'm lining up for the meet and greet, and I'm like, well, I'll tell Brandon, hey, I'm Derek. I'm from...
Nephi, Utah.
I don't know. Probably doesn't remember. I don't know if he remembers me or not, but I'm going to say I'm doing this podcast. Me and Jimmy definitely remembers Jimmy.
Oh, of course. Golfing buddies.
Jimmy plays it down, but they golf together and
frequently.
And everyone claims they were this guy's friend, but I mean, him and Jimmy weren't like hanging out on the weekends or whatever, but they were friendly. Like they were, anyways. So I'm like, I'll talk about, I'll just say that, mention that. And then I'm hoping that my buddy John's there.
Yeah.
And I'll see him and just say what's up and whatever. I thought, they'll have me a little backstage interaction. And there's other people in line kind of talking. It's kind of funny hearing what they're saying. I'll save that for the other show because I could go off for hours on things. So we're lining up, and I'm like, oh, man, this is going to happen. So I'm sending Jimmy and some people things like, I'm in the backstage line. I'm going to go do a meet and greet. This is kind of crazy. I didn't know the concert was happening. And here I am going to go meet the band. And they kind of have us lined up. Then this guy comes out, and he's like, got this list. He's like, I got 20 people on this list. There's more than 20 people in this line. If you're not on this list, just leave now so that we don't have to have an awkward interaction because I can't let you come back if you're not on the list. And I thought, well, I could kind of fight this or say I'm supposed to be on the list or come up with a clever, I'm Ralph Jones or something. Like, I come up with a pretty generic name.
Ryan Smith.
Yeah. I come up with a pretty generic name. Or I can just leave because I don't want to cause a scene and get kicked out of this or have it be, dude, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm already in the backstage-ish area.
Okay.
But I'm already in where the arena, for lack of a better term, I can see where the stage and everything is. And so after that, I was, probably another 10, 15 minutes sitting there. And then that guy comes out and does that. I'm like, okay. So I kind of walk around. I'm talking to a few other people that left the line, too. And they're like, that was worth a shot. I'm like, yeah, worth a shot. I didn't know what was going on. And they kind of go sit down. I'm like, hey, are these assigned seats or anything? No, not that I'm aware of. Okay. So I go kind of sit kind of the front row, but they have like the whole stage and everything. And there's another kind of lady just kind of wandering around right in the front of the
stage.
Front of the stage where they have their big K and everything. And I go and I say, hey, are these reserved for like, VIPs or anything like that? She goes, no, that's the VIP section over there. This is just free for all. So I thought to myself, self, you'll probably go to other Killers concerts again because that's what I do. But I'm not going to pay
several
hundros. I'm not going to get there because the people that go to these concerts,
they're diehards.
They get there like the morning of so they can get their place in line so they can be front and center.
They're camping out.
I'm probably not going to do that. And at my age, I'm probably not going to be standing and jumping a whole lot. Like, I only got so many shows left in these knees of mine. But I thought, but not tonight. Tonight's D-Roy's time.
Not tonight.
I have
Did you get the Herb speech before?
Not tonight. Yeah, I was giving it to myself. I thought, I'm a little delirious. I gotta be amped to drive home. But other than that, I thought for the others, I'm in prime spot. Takes pretty good videos, and who knows what happens.
Okay.
So I just camp out. So then I just go up and stand right up on the rail, fold the arms, take a few pictures. Have another guy come up to me, and he's kind of the same way. He's like, these reserved. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, well, you go now. And so we're probably there, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes. And they start sliding this other wall, which connects to the other place where we were. Lo and behold, it's all one big connected building, Adam. And I'm hearing them talk about Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk, they kind of have the sound amp through there. And I'm like, oh, man, everyone's just going to come running over when this is done. Uh-huh. So your boy, two steps ahead.
Well ahead of the game.
I'd have been waiting outside. I don't know when those doors did or didn't open. And the herd would have been coming. I'd have been trying to, there's no way I would have ended up nearly as good as I did.
All you got to do is be faster than the slow guy.
And sometimes that's a mental faster than the slow guy.
Yes.
These guys are all .com billionaire tech boys or whatever they are. They got out hustled by D-Roy last night. they can have their stock prices and their
gluten-free,
their 401ks and their free lunches and conference talks,
cereal bars.
They got outworked by your boy D-Roy. And so I'm like, oh crap, this is gonna be interesting to see this herd coming through.
So Husky section sitting on the front row,
shoulders up, ready to rock. And I look up there, and I'm like, I think that's Pajama Man. That's what we call Ryan.
Yeah.
In the friend group, and they're sitting on the stage just having a little conversation with I don't even know who was the billionaire tech mogul guy that owns everything.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of interesting. It was just
I was in the same conversation 3 weeks ago when I was there, and him and Gary V just shooting the breeze about buying the Jazz. I mean, nobody, just like what we're doing right now, except they got a couple zeros on the end of their transactions.
They got lucky on what they were doing, and it worked for them, and they're able to do cool things.
More power to those guys.
So, anyways, Herd comes over, and I don't know if people are like, how'd this guy get here? I'm sure I was kind of like, how did this guy beat me here? But, we're like, there's people doing whatever people do. And then, lo and behold, the concert starts up at him. There I am, front and center, ready to rock, man. It was, it was a good time. I'll just say that it was a good time had by, I believe, all.
There was some video shared. Maybe you have to help us out on the Death Pile and Taxes on social media.
I'll send her over there some pictures.
Throw a little something up there. So
I'll tell you, man, like it's a good concert, but when you're front row, like it's a show. Guys putting on a show. But if you ever have a chance, you guys should go to a Killers concert, even if they're not your number one band. Because, dude, after that, I thought, man, maybe they do have the Super Bowl. Like
I told you, it's coming.
Like they put on a performance, and this is for the corporate. I mean, this is their half, like, we're just here for the money show.
Yeah, I mean, they're not there, the diehard fans like you were. I mean, these other diehards, they would have been up in line. I mean, you would have been busting elbows, hundreds of deep, but you're up there by your lonesome and your new buddy.
Well, then I'm also afraid that, like, people get pushing and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And my buddy already told me, he's like, man, they do that. All you got to do is put your hands on the rail and just push back. I'm not too worried. This isn't the kids down at the skating ring, but it was pretty comfortable for that. I mean, people weren't,
corporate show.
They're corporate, and they're there with their work friends. But man, it was a good night. I was so. Did I tell you about the ZZ Top thing? Did I talk about that on this show?
We did not hear. If you're getting into this, like I said, this is Death Piles and Taxes. We appreciate you listening. A lot of times we'll go off the rails. Right now we're getting derailed with D-Roy. I get when you're in the right place at the right time, you're just like Derek. You get into places that if you look back, you're like, one of these things don't look like the other. That's usually the situations.
How'd this happen?
But you know what? It just doesn't matter. So you and ZZ Top now. What the heck?
So we talked a couple weeks ago about how important it is to make friends.
Yes.
And be nice to people, right? So I do these Whatnot shows. I haven't in a while, but I'll do Whatnot shows where I sell my wrestling cards. I'm also, if you go on the Twitter, here's the weird thing. So on social media, I'm either known for wrestling cards or the Killers, basically right now.
Yeah.
And those worlds don't really cross that much. So some people are really into one thing I'm doing. Some people are really into the other thing I'm doing. And both are probably wondering what is going on when I go live. They think, oh, he's opening up a box of, some
wrestles,
some new wrestling skybox cards or something. And then the other group was probably like, he's going to open up some new Prism cards. And they're like, this rock and roll show. What's going on here? What's this band? So when I go live, it's an interesting collection of people that might pop in. And anyway, I'm pretty well known on the Twitter world in the wrestling card universe. Like, it's not a big universe, but I'm respected there.
Yes.
People love to say, yeah, you know who D-Roy is? Yeah, I bought some stuff off him, or we've done this deal or whatever. So there's a guy over there, and he's on tour with a bunch of different bands, is what he says. But people say a lot of things online.
Sure.
Who knows the truth of it? But I bought a few things off of him. He had some guitar picks from like Miley Cyrus or Plain White Tees or ZZ Top and some of those. So I was buying stuff off him. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. Where'd you get those picks? Because if you bought enough, he'd send you a pick. That's cool. And he's like, oh, my job is I'm a guitar tech, and I go work with all these people. I'm thinking, yeah, and I drive with the NASCAR circuit or whatever. You know, it's like I don't know what the
Professional ice road trucker.
Especially when you're dealing with pro wrestling, you know, sometimes there's some exaggeration,
embellishing
storylines, or some people just want to feel important or whatever. So I'm like, oh, that's cool, but you know, I get to be friends with him. We get to follow each other on the social things, and I start seeing him pop up pictures. And I'll be lo and behold if he's not working with ZZ Top, right? I'm like, well, I guess dude wasn't lying. I like their guitars and stuff. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So a few months ago, I was going down to Las Vegas. I don't even remember what for, because I go down to Las Vegas a lot now. I'm probably just a gambler.
Which, speaking of maybe Saturday, I'll have to talk to you this off air, but maybe Saturday.
I'm always a maybe Saturday.
Okay.
That's tomorrow.
I know.
Okay, maybe Saturday. So, you know, I go down to a fair amount. We went down. We had some flights going out of there. Went down to the Rose Bowl. Usually stop there. Just been to Vegas a lot lately.
Yes, you have.
And I was down there with my wife. Again, I don't remember what we were doing. Maybe it was just a vacation. But we had a few other shows and stuff lined up. And I saw ZZ Top was going to be there on one of the days that was the day that we weren't doing anything at night or something. And so I just texted over to my boy, and I said, hey, man, you working in Vegas? Like,
you going to be there?
I said, yeah, just in town. Like, so I was more, once you get to be friends with somebody and you're internet friends, it's kind of cool to meet up once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
You go to a card show or, so I was like, you know, let's go hang out and have dinner or something. If you're in town, let's go to lunch or something. It was more my angle.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you down this way? I'm like, yeah, we're here for whatever we're here for. And he's like, man, you need tickets to the show? That's always yes.
The answer to that is always yes.
Always yes. He's like, I'll see what I can do. I was like, you know, I was like the public Twitter, and then I'm like DMing him. I'm like, dude, you don't gotta give me tickets. Like, I was just seeing if you're around. Yeah. We go hang out, or I'd like to, you know, meet you or whatever. And he's like, no, it's cool. Like, I've never asked for him in this venue because this is at the Venetian and they're doing like a residency.
This is the big time.
The big time. And so I'm like, oh, that'd be cool, but like, you don't have to do this, obviously. So yeah, no problem. So I just tell my wife, I'm like, hey, we might be going to see ZZ Top here in a couple hours. You know, might or might not. And she's like, oh, that'd be fun. But like, again, like, how do you pull this kind of crap off? Like, who are you?
Right place, right time.
And so get a message, you know, 20 minutes later. He's like, oh yeah, man, you're on the list. You're on the list. Like, okay. So we get over there, and long story short, go up to the will call line. And I wasn't dressed to like be in the Venetian, and I wasn't dressed to go to like some nice show or whatever. It's probably just in a jeans and a
t-shirt
or something like that with a hat on or whatever. And I go up to their will call, and I'm like, hey, I guess I need to pick up some tickets. And the guy's like, some tickets?
Uh-huh.
I'm like, yeah, for the show tonight. He's like, oh, well, we don't really have. And he goes like, are you friends with the band?
Yes.
And I said, yeah, friends with the band. He's looking at me like,
sure, yeah.
Yeah, he's looking at me like everyone else is like, yeah, you're friends with ZZ Top. You're, yeah, okay. What was your name again? Let's see your ID. Okay. And so he gets, and then all of a sudden you see his face kind of change. He's like, oh, Mr. Everett. I got your tickets right here. Hands over an envelope, Derek Everett on there. And I even told Holly going up to him, like, I don't know. Like, I still don't know if this is legit. Like, when we get there, she knows the whole story, too. And I'm like, this dude I met on the internet, we deal in the wrestling cards together. He still might be scamming me. I don't know, but
this
it's worth
is
a try.
Story I've never heard.
So sure enough, Mr. Everett, here's your tickets.
Jeez.
And oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And they're the physical tickets, which is hard to get anymore. And his whole face and everything. So then we get in, and nice tickets, kind of front row on the balcony, and watch the show. Great show. Again, if you ever have a chance to go see ZZ Top, don't mess around. My buddy comes out on the stage and actually is a part of the show at one point. He's the guitar tech, so he's bringing out a guitar, and Billy Gibbons makes some joke about him and stuff. So I text him like, "Hey man, that was kind of funny. It was a good show." And then I called him, like Sluggo or whatever. He had some nickname that Billy called him or something like that. He's like, "Oh, where you at?" Because I guess he didn't even know if I was really gonna show up or not. I'm like, I'm up at the balcony, and whatever. And it was their last day of that show.
Okay.
So afterwards, he's like, hey.
He's got to clean it all up.
He's got to clean it all up.
Yeah.
And so they kind of like push you out because all the people need to get home.
Yeah.
So I was hanging out in the lobby for a little bit. He's like, hey, man, I'd come back and meet you or whatever, but we got to clean up and get everything on the truck. So we kind of hung out for a little bit. but he didn't actually ever get to come out.
Yeah.
And you never know. Like I thought, well, maybe we'll go backstage. I don't know. So the same way, I'm friends with a guy we grew up in Nephi together. Well, he was a few years older than us, but now he calls himself the Lobby Boy.
Yeah.
He kind of does the same thing for the Killers. So full circle to wrap this up. I'm kind of there taking my pictures and stuff, and he's like, "Dude, where are you at?" I'm like, "I'm front and center," and kind of the same thing. I thought, well, you never know. I said they kicked me out of the meet and greet line because I wasn't on the list. So I just came over here, and he was out getting pizzas for everybody or something. So I didn't end up seeing him last night either. Well, I saw him on stage for a second before the show, but anyway, that's my story, Adam. That's life that's life if you're D-Roy Everett week, whatever week we're on.
So we'll just recap that. You never know what's going to happen at the end of a day. Derek's happily delivering the magic juice, the powders, the things that fix your ailments. And later that day, he's hanging out front and center on the stage there with the Killers, just doing his thing, enjoying the food, the gathering. Again, I can't stress it enough. Karma is good when you're good to people. And that's all D-Roy is. When you're good peoples, good things happen.
Be good to people. Keep all options open. Kind of see what's going on in your area. I didn't know this was going on until 3 in the afternoon. Imagine if I had a couple days to plan this through.
Oh yeah, you would have been with your boy in the backstage.
I'd have been on the list.
You would have been on the list. Like you would have. You're on the list. Oh yeah, yes, Mr. Everett, you are on the list. I'm sorry, I even thought that I might question that you would be or would not be on the list. So
my apologies, Mr. Everett.
So maybe there's 3 things now that are certain. Derek will be there if he wants to be there. And the other 2 things, D-Roy, are
death piles and taxes.